I mean, it's so frigging bad. Like, do you even think that Mike realizes the gravity of what he has done? He's ruined it for other science-based lifters. Coach Gress, and in today's video, Josh Brett has had enough of the science-based industry where he's calling these guys out, guys like Nipsterd and Mr. Mike, and the list goes on and on. Can't wait for Greg's 40-minute reaction video. That was Greg Doucette stoically responding. And so to summarize this video, science-based lifting, it's dead. I'm going to watch the video and I'm going to explain with receipts proving exactly what's going on, why it's dead, and why you all need to wake the Turk up. I've been calling out the BS in the fitness industry for years. Many people think that I'm BS, that my products are BS, but yet they can't prove me wrong. All I see is people proving me right. You're thinking that I've failed, that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not the one who wrote a PhD thesis with 200 plus mistakes.
Mike Israel's PhD thesis is a failure.
Yet, many were quick to refute the video and suggest its removal.
Somewhere along the line, an older version ended up in the repository.
I mean, is it not ridiculous that to this day, there's no apology from Mike? They're just swiping it under the rug. Jeff Nippod, Solomon's Florida client, as well as Lane Norton. These guys just delete their post, brush it under the rug, and act as if they could do no wrong. When you guys keep cherry-picking science, picking studies, latest study, it's fresh in my mind. I couldn't believe this. I even wrote a comment. Lane Norton's trying to preach that a certain creatine is better than the others, that it's going to help ward off Alzheimer's and so on. It's just so good.
A new study that just got published looked at supplementing with creatine hydrochloride or creatine ethyl ester and its effects on cognition.
There were 9 people in each group. 9. Sample size, 9. And they were using 0.75 grams of creatine compared to 1.5. How can you quote studies with so few participants that the results are just a bullshit? And so, wow, the group, it improved in comparison to placebo. Well, the placebo's cognition regressed by 6% in 8 weeks. And so it improved? Or was it just a fluke? Was Buddy in placebo group number 1 high off sniffing creatine from the night before, and that's why their brain regressed so much? Why are they losing 6% of brain function in 8 weeks? Oh, let's not look at that. Let's just post the study and say, see everyone, this creatine's better than everyone else's. Buy the creatine, code discount 15% off. If you simply go out there and cherry pick a study, you can make the study say or not say anything.
Science-based fitness rose to prominence to improve the industry, to cut through the bro science, the myths, and the noise that dominated the early YouTube years.
And so is there really any difference between science-based lifting and bro science-based lifting? Hey, I went to the gym and I worked out for 30 years, coached thousands of clients, and I think this is how you should train. Bro comes in and says, oh, that's not science-based because a study et al. With soccer moms for 8 weeks says, no, you need to read 3 reps in reserve. How is that science? Just because somebody wrote a paper with a sample size of 9 and said this is the best way to train, it doesn't work like that.
But over time, this label has been tarnished. What began as a movement based on evidence and honesty has started to look a lot like the very bullshit it set out to clear up.
And so a better term should be science-based scamming. You cherry pick from the tens of thousands or perhaps millions of studies in the world, and you pick the exact one that says exactly what you want to say it to be. Supplement companies, this is what they do. They repeat the study 10 times and they post the best one. Or this is what they also do. They write you in secret, which happened to me, and said, just pay me $200,000 in secret and I won't say that you funded the study, and then you can decide to study the way that you want. Really, that's how it works? I'm not up for it. Then they design a study, and this is real truth, with Turk Builder Max from Coach Greg, 1 pill a day for a month, and you don't need to work out. And then they use an InBody scam to say that the Turk didn't work, and then people quote that study, which wasn't even published. That is what they're doing to Coach Greg. When I tell you that Turk Builder Mac is effective, that Turk Platinum, that it's better than creatine, I literally offer a money-back guarantee and a $20 gift card if it is not. If you need a study, I can fund one in secret. We'll repeat the study 10 times over and you'll be a believer. But isn't that bullshit? And so I am not going to do it unless you have a meta-analysis, which is the cumulative work of many studies with larger sample sizes. Then and only then can you say with definitivity, and you're not even definitive, that it most likely is going to work. When we're talking about supplements like creatine, Turk Builder Max, and so on, we're talking about percentages of improvement, not 3,000% bigger, not 1,804% better than the former fat burner. We're talking about a few percentage points. But that can make a difference. And so studies with a few participants are not going to be enough. And so that is what's going on.
But more and more people have started pointing out their questionable takes.
If you have 1 or 2 glasses of wine a night, most nights, statistically it has almost no effect on anything negative-wise.
And so you see, Mr. Mike, how often has he said things that turn out to be complete and utter bullshit? Where is the line? Obviously, Mr. Mike says a lot of things that are correct, but how do you know when he's correct and how do you know when he's lying? You don't. And there lies the problem. If he was a man of integrity, would come up and make an apology, well, Dr. Solomon, his critique was valid. It wasn't the first draft. It was, in fact, the final draft. And it's an embarrassment, but this is something that I did 13 years ago. The people, it would have forgave him and they would have moved on. But when you try to cover it up and you think you're smarter than, I don't know, maybe every coach.
I'm both on a raw IQ scale smarter than almost every coach.
And that he's bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. And from that moment on, it changed the game.
I'm bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. That's it. Yeah. So all of a sudden, that changed the game.
This is the level of intelligence demonstrated by Mr. Mike.
You should probably train more than the pro bodybuilders you follow.
Whatever C-Bum was doing, and if you're natural, do twice as much. And remember, if you're sleeping, you'll put on just as much muscle as if you're on steroids, because et al. Said so in the 8-week study with Mr. Moms.
A doctor's whiteboard presentation on calorie balance might pull 200,000 views. But a doctor telling you how to lose fat in 1 week, 24 million.
And so here's the thing, and listen, I'm guilty of this as well. The clickbait titles are what gets you to watch the video. And so I clickbait the shit out of these titles because I want you to watch them. Other people are doing it, and so if you don't do it, you're not going to get the views. And then during the video, I explain it. And so some people, they actually think that I'm some kind of a bad person, that I'm saying certain things, that I'm meaning certain things, but they're not even watching my videos. They don't watch any of the substance. It's like judging a book by its cover. Look at Smayev, who was training with Larry Wheels. He's 330 pounds of muscle. He looks scary, but when you talk to him and you see how a nice person this guy is, the values that he stands for, you realize you can't just judge a person by its cover. And so you need to dig deep and turn and read over all the chapters and watch the video to see what the person's actually saying.
That's the dilemma. If qualified professionals don't adapt to these formats, they risk getting drowned out by the people who will.
I've done so many videos on Chloe Tang. She knows almost nothing. I've reacted to her. She doesn't know what she's talking about, but because she had the look and she seemed nice enough, you all flock to her, but she doesn't teach you actual quality information.
The BBC found that in 15 episodes of its top-ranked Diary of the CEO podcast, each contained an average of 14 harmful health claims that directly contradicted scientific evidence.
And so you think all these podcasts, they get the guests on the show, they're spewing nonsense on purpose. They tell you the most stupid things, have the craziest titles, because it gets the views. It gets people commenting, this is wrong, you can't say that. And it enrages people, and the more enraged that you are, the more views the video eventually is going to get.
And it's especially harmful when it comes to nutrition.
Now I've got the #1 miracle in a bottle to burn your fat. Lightning in a bottle. It's a miracle flour to fight fat.
I mean, Mr. Raspberry Ketones himself, Dr. Oz. I mean, bro may as well have been in The Wizard of Oz. And if you didn't watch that show, he had a scam going on, just like Dr. Oz.
Science-based starts to sound like a magic bullet. And when people eventually realize the magic isn't real, many swing the other way.
Probity, honesty, transparency, and intellectual integrity isn't just a formality.
And so, unfortunately, many people don't have integrity and honesty. They're not going to admit when they make a mistake. No one is saying everyone is going to be perfect, that out of every single video, that you never said a single thing that was wrong. But when you sit there and say you're bigger and stronger than Mike Menser, that you're the smartest person in the room, your IQ is over 160, and you act as if your PhD is more meaningful than another person's opinion, then when you're wrong, you have to come clean, because you're going to ruin it for everyone. And trust me, there are other science-based lifters that have written me in private, I'm not going to mention names, and saying they are concerned with my videos because I'm calling out the science-based lifting community. Well, Coach Greg, why are you saying this? People are now not going to believe me. They're not going to trust the science that we're saying. Not everyone is to blame. Some science-based lifters, or some people presenting science, are doing so eloquently, properly, exactly what they should be doing. But others, they simply are not, especially those who carry the word doctor or PhD.
The moment that promise is broken, the credibility of the individual might take a hit, but more importantly, the credibility of science itself suffers.
I mean, it's so frigging bad. Like, do you even think that Mike realizes the gravity of what he has done? He's ruined it for other science-based lifters. He's probably thinking, oh, it's just Coach Greg. Perhaps it's Greg and Solomon. If it wasn't for them, science would be amazing. And so why are they doing this to me? We didn't do anything to him. He did it to himself, all by himself.
If you call yourself an educator, be worthy of that title. Admit errors, show your process, protect the truth and not your pride.
And so the problem is there's guys also in the circle jerk, like I think it's Mino Henselman. He's done videos about Coach Greg, and they cherry pick studies and they say, hey, new study. And they say what it says. And then I'll write them and I'll say, do you know how misleading this study actually is? Like, I'll do it in private. Not every time I do a call out do I do it for everyone to see. And so you write some of these guys in private, you'd be like, do you know what talking about that study does? That study with not enough participants, that's complete bullshit. You're cherry picking it and showing it to everyone and making it look like it's fact. No, I'm just reporting science. You know better though. Like, some people, smart people, they know better. The average person that doesn't know how to read an article, perhaps they don't have a degree in kinesiology, whatever, they don't understand it, so they see the misleading title and they don't know how to read through it. They say, oh, wow, if you drink several Diet Cokes, you're going to get cancer. I feel like it's not their fault. They're not smart enough to understand the study or to see the problems with the co-founding variables and so on. And so I give them the pass. But when you have a PhD, or when you're a famous researcher and you're supposed to know better, I believe these people are doing it on purpose for clicks and views. And when people say, oh, but Coach Greg, you're all about making money. Yeah, at least I admit it. See, that's the difference. Oh, we don't do it for money. Really? So why are videos monetized? Why are you selling programs? Why are they not all free?
That was Greg Doucette, stoically responding to an unfavourable study on his supplement. The study does appear poorly designed.
Do you think that Mike Israetel or Jeff Nippa or any of these guys, the Henselmans and so on, you really think that they believe that the study that was done on Turk was actually valid? And do you think they read any of the other studies that I presented? Of course not. Why? Because they don't like me. I'm not involved in the circle jerk. I'm just like Solomon and Lyle. They don't like us. Why? Because we don't suck on their freaking songs full of sweet and blow. Yeah, boy. You get ostracized. You get outcast. Oh, I won't make a video with Greg. No, I just want Greg to not make any videos about me. But if he ever writes me, I won't write him back. But please, Greg, please, pretty please, don't make a video about me because you ruined me. I'm going to care about what bro from Bangladesh writes about me. I hate it so much. I'm making the videos, so shut up.
Studies with flashy, significant results are much more likely to get published. And that can earn researchers more funding, prestige, and more reason to tweak studies until the data tells an exciting story.
Do you guys understand this? Like, not every study gets published, but if you have an amazing title, a clickbait title on a study, soda drinks cause cancer, fruit is poisonous, you shouldn't eat vegetables, keto diet is #1, go carnivore. These not only get published, but these are what social media influencers talk about. They do so to scare you. You're more likely to click on that video and comment, and they're more likely to go viral. And all publicity is good publicity. And so people, they don't care. They don't care about what the video is talking about, whether it's true or not, because they can quote science and then they can hide behind what the science says. When you know the science is bullshit and you report it, you're bullshit. As Dorian Yates once said, a bag of shit that gets bigger is just a bigger bag of shit. And so when you quote these studies and you hide behind them and say, oh, it's just a study, see? You're the big bag of shit.
Take EMG studies. They measure muscle activation, not muscle growth. Yet some influencers treat them like gospel.
And so it recruited more EMG, and so automatically it's a better exercise, right? Just because it recruits more of muscle fibers doesn't mean it's building more muscle. And so you can't just quote bullshit.
Then there's DEXA scans, often treated as a gold standard for body fat assessment.
I could do and have done 3 full videos on the DEXA scam. It is not, let me repeat that, not the golden standard for body fat testing. It's not even close. You don't think my laser eyes are better than a DEXA scam? It is not an accurate assessment of body fat, and Jeff Nippod, he knows that. Remember when he did a study on his brother? Millions of views. He gained, 12 pounds of muscle, lean muscle in the first month, and then 1 in the 5 months after that. How many people actually think he put on 12 pounds of muscle the first month? Or maybe he was just extra hydrated, had more glycogen, because the DEXA scam, it doesn't know the difference between water and muscle. And it's an algorithm based on an assumption, and different DEXA scams have different results. Did you know any of that? And so a DEXA scam, you're acting like it's one thing. There's multiple DEXA scams, each with different algorithms and predict different values. And so if you do the same test on 2 different machines, 1 hour apart, the result's going to be different. Or better yet, go 12 hours apart. I asked. No, you're not allowed to do a DEXA scam more than once every month. And I'm thinking, why? I was going to prove that I could gain and or lose 10 pounds of muscle in 12 hours. That would prove it's bullshit. But I don't need to do it. They said, no, we've compared them to other people. Does anyone think that my girlfriend, Mepsigram, is 13.7% body fat and that Alex Eubank is 15%? What about the fact that if you have breast implants, the DEXA scam doesn't know what to do with it, and so it gives you an inaccurate measurement. And so all the girls out there getting their body fats done with breast implants, I'm 9.9%. No, you're not. It's wrong. It's inaccurate. And even worse is the InBody scam. Did you all see my results? 19.8%. And so they're using InBody scams and DEXA scams to do scientific research to say if a supplement is effective or not.
Look at Matt Does Fitness, who somehow came back at 16.9% body fat while looking much leaner.
Yeah, Matt Does Fitness, 16.9%, sure. Joe Frazier, 15.8%, but Mepsigram, 13.7%. And remember, women carry more body fat than men. And so shouldn't she have more fat than these guys? I mean, she is a woman after all. Women carry more essential fat than men.
So no, being anti-science isn't the answer.
There's very few bad studies.
Do you really think that every study that's designed is good? For example, using an InBody scam to determine how much muscle that you've put on. Bad study. Bad design. Why? InBody scam, inaccurate. If I told you, hey, we did a study to see how much body fat you could lose, and we used a 7-year-old girl's opinion on how much she thinks she lost based on some pictures that we showed her. Is that a really good scientific study?
There's poor interpretations, and there is way too broad of applications, but data is just data.
Data is just data is like saying a bag of shit that gets bigger is a bigger bag of shit.
A bag of shit that gets bigger is just a bigger bag of shit.
Bad data that gets bigger is more bad data. It's not beneficial.
Most problems arise when influencers, who are not aware of the limitations, misrepresent studies to the public under a science-based veil, especially as a doctor.
Misrepresenting studies, it happens all the time. People extrapolate beyond what they can do. They say, but it's a study, and they'll flash up like Jeff Nippod does in a video and say, look, the study et al. Half the time people post up a study, and in the study itself, it doesn't say what they're saying.
Fortunately, there's giveaway signs that a science-based expert is spreading misinformation. First, extreme claims and absolute language.
Spinach. Not healthy for you.
What kind of nonsense is that? How can he even have a channel? And why do you think he's popular? Because he says such nonsense. He rage baits people. Spinach is not healthy. People are going to say, yes, it is. This is bullshit. And then that creates more drama on the algorithm and more people watch it.
They lifted no weights for 2 weeks. They just sat there and they visualized themselves lifting weights. they had a 13% increase in muscle mass.
Yeah, let me just think of building bigger muscles and I'm gonna grow more than I will by taking steroids.
Exercise, especially at an advanced level, has an element of art to it. It's not just science. This is why wisdom and intuition should also be respected. These shouldn't be enemies.
I like how he says wisdom times science. You can have all the science information that you want, but if you don't have the wisdom to understand that science, and when it's bullshit and when it's not, you're not going to be equipped to explain to people what it means. And so unfortunately, most people just don't have the education, the background, the years of experience, the training. They just don't know any better. And so when they see a study, automatically assume that it's true when it absolutely is not. And even a single study occasionally can have immense meaning, but it has to be the correct study under the correct design. I'm not saying you can't listen to any science whatsoever, but you need to be critical. You need to think clearly and understand exactly what they're saying and perhaps why. Just because somebody has a PhD or a doctor in front of their name, it doesn't mean that everything they're saying is 100% valid. Interested in any of the supplements, blood work, for example, those of you who are not healthy, G-Test Platinum, GO2 Max, all the supplements, code Greg 15% off. And of course, get over to AlgoRx, code Greg 10% off if you're looking for testosterone, if you're looking for enclomiphene, Ozempic, Tirzepatide, Cialis, Viagra, you name it. Get over to the website. Very cheap prices, prescribed by doctors, pharmaceutical. None of this SARM's bullshit from different sites. It's not sketchy stuff. It's above board, everything. That is the promise. And until next time, I am out.